Hello, I'm Robin. Welcome to Bookspin. The Ballad of Lost Camel was first published in Galaxy magazine October 1962, in which it featured as the basis for that issue's cover art. This story continues the theme of the Dead Lady of Clowntown, which I've discussed in a previous episode, and that is the advancement of rights for the underpeople, the subclass of animal-derived humanoids who have long been oppressed and enslaved by humanity. It's also a strange and poignant love story about an unlikely romance between a human and an underperson. Lord Jestercost is a lord of the instrumentality, and he is one of the few humans who believes in rights for underpeople, and it's his goal to help them in secret, all the while without upsetting the established social order. And early on in the story he meets Camel, the title character, at a funeral. Camel being a beautiful cat girl who works as a girly girl at Earthport, which is this huge spaceport, 25 kilometers high. Earth's main spaceport, I believe. Now, the term girly girl seems to refer to some kind of escort or hospitality worker whose job it is to charm off-world visitors to Earth. And so that is Camel's role. After Jestercost makes contact with her telepathically, he overhears her talking to a mysterious being called E. Telekali, who has very strong telepathic powers. So Jestercost questions Camel. He lets her know of his ambition, what he wants to do with the underpeople. He learns that E. Telekali may in fact be the leader of the underpeople. And so together, Jestercost and Camel and E. Telekali, they work together to come up with a plan. It's a kind of quiet but effective conspiracy that will give the underpeople political leverage and ultimately go on to give proper rights and citizenship to the underpeople within the instrumentality. So that is the basic premise of the story. Along the way, while they work closely together in this venture, Camel falls in love with Jestercost. But Jestercost suppresses his own feelings during their alliance. There are just too many barriers that forbid that path. The status and the power dynamic between these two characters are deeply unequal. They're not even considered the same species. And thus, any form of human underperson romance is socially impossible in instrumentality society, such as it is. And really, that is the heart of this story. That's what ultimately makes this a melancholy tale. It's a story of profound, unrequited love. And that is, I think, by far the most memorable takeaway from the story, rather than all of the social and political stuff that's going on. We do get to see a little bit of Jestercost and Camel's conspiracy in practice, but it's not really the main focus of the story. The consequences and the aftermath of this conspiracy are alluded to, but they're not really explained in detail. The main focus is on these two characters, and I think it works quite well as a short but powerful love story with a strange and haunting far future sci-fi setting. I found the character of Kamel, a cat-derived underperson, intriguing. But I do think that she's a little bit underdeveloped in this story. I do feel that this story could benefit from being fleshed out a little bit. If we compare it to The Dead Lady of Clown Town, which I mentioned earlier, and as I said, these two stories share quite similar themes. I don't think this story can match the level of emotional power or depth of characters in that story. The main reason being The Dead Lady of Clown Town is a much longer story. It's got more detailed world building, more character development, more plot development. So it's a much more fleshed out story. That said, I still think that this particular story is intriguing and evocatively written. And if you're planning to read the novel Nostralia, it's not a bad idea to read The Ballad of Lost Kamel first, as this story effectively functions as a prequel, or at least part prequel, and it features some of the same characters, including Kamel. The name Kamel, by the way, Cordwainer Smith named after his cat, Melanie. The C' prefix in her name indicates that she is an underperson of cat origin with certain feline characteristics, because all under people, although most of them are essentially humanoid in shape and size and intelligence, they retain certain physical and mental characteristics of the animal species which they are supposed to have derived from. And so this particular story, as it's focused on a cat person, is another story to be filed under cat-themed Cordwainer Smith stories, alongside The Game of Rat and Dragon and The Crime and the Glory of Commander Suzdal, these latter two being two of Cordwainer Smith's all-time best stories, in my opinion. Anyway, that's all for today. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you again soon.